Hi everyone, it's Lisa and I am crafting from my home today. Just to let you know that the library is open for browsing. We still have curbside and you must adhere to the COVID policy of masking up and social distancing. So we hope to see you back in the library. Our craft classes, our painting classes, all of our extracurricular activities that we do at the library are still on hold, but we hope to have you back in soon for some of our crafting sessions. So today we are making something that I think is adorable, and it is these book spine bookmarks. And you can see that I've already taken this one off of the book, and I have added just a little bit of decor, a little bit of ribbon at the top. I finished off the back with some felt on this one. And then on the second one that I have constructed, instead of putting my bow through a loop at the top, I have simply just hot glued my bow at the top, something a little bit different. This one has been Mod Podged as well as this one. Just gives them a little bit more stability, I think. You do not have to Mod Podge. We'll talk about what we need in a few moments. And on this one is construction paper that has also been Mod Podged to the back. So let's look at what we need for this activity today. We are going to need the spine off of some of your, excuse me, some of the books that you have at home that you're no longer using, or if you've been crafting with books, some of the activities that we have, then you could use the binding or the spine, excuse me, off of those books. So keep this, I think I mentioned months ago that if you're crafting with a book, to keep the spine, because we're going to use that to make bookmarks. Other things that we're going to need are a pair of scissors or a rotary cutter, whichever one's best and most available for you. We will need some type of glue. You can either use a tacky glue or you can use the glue gun, although we know the glue gun tends to leave a little bit of bumpiness behind it once you use it. You'll also need some Mod Podge if you'd like to finish these off and make sure that they have a shine to them. This one is a gloss Mod Podge. I'm going to need a hole punch and some brushes if I intend to do the Mod Podge. And I've also put some clips out. These are just close-on clips that I have stamped just to add a little bit of fun to them. But this can help you with this process as well. And then I think the only other thing that you're going to need is ribbon for the top of it, or however you put the ribbon on. You do not need a ribbon. I just think it adds to it just a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the process. Excuse me. The first thing that you're going to need is to separate the spine of the book from the rest of the book. And that's pretty easy. Actually, if you'll open up the book, you can, right where the hard copy of your, the hard front and back of your book are, you should be able to cut right down that little seam there. And then this should just pop off. If you keep working with it enough, it's going to come off in one piece, and it's going to allow you to make a really cute bookmark. What I have done on this one is I've simply cut off the side seams here. Now it looks like it's a little bit irregular there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my measuring tool here, and I'm going to even that up just a bit, because it looks like I have mismeasured or cut. You could easily take your scissors and do that. That's much better. Just getting off that little extra that we had there. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to determine how you want to finish the back. Now you could leave the back as it is, although right now it is just a piece of it looks like cardboard there. So we really want to try to finish the back of it. I would suggest felt. If you do not have felt, and we're going to assume that you don't, then we're just going to use the back part. We're going to use construction paper. So I have construction paper here. I'm going to line that up. I'm going to lay my measuring tool down on top once I've evened it up. Of course, I've moved it, and that's perfect. And once we have lined it up, which I'm having difficulty doing, then I'm going to cut. And what I'm doing is cutting the back part, or the finished part, to finish the back, I should say. Now I'm going to use my rotary cutter for this. And then I need to get the right length. Use your scissors if you have them. Now, to get this on the back, all I'm going to be using is tacky glue. By the way, you could use Mod Podge. If you're going to Mod Podge this and make it glossy, then you can use Mod Podge. You can Mod Podge this. You can put your construction paper on top of it and then Mod Podge over the construction paper. I'm going to use my brush to smooth this out a little bit because I do want to get my edges. These make great little gifts, especially if you have a reader. I'm going to line up my construction paper. Wipe off my ends just a little bit. And I don't believe I got a real good seal on the bottom here, so I'm going to take what was left on my paintbrush and get that end. Now don't worry if your lines are not even with the construction paper, because we can turn this over. You can actually see where I need to trim it just a little bit on the back part. Now that will dry over time, but in the meantime, I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. I'm getting the extra construction paper that I see from the back. I'm getting that off of there. Now at this point, all you're going to do is let this dry. And if you're using felt, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to measure it, you're going to use your tacky glue, and you're going to adhere the felt to the back of this. I'm going to go ahead and trim up the other side. Make it nice and even. Now, we can stop at this point right here. We can put a hole in the very top. And it's ready to go. Whoops, I missed a piece down here. There we go. Or you can Mod Podge the whole thing, and that will make it a little bit more durable, and it will give it a shiny gloss. So that depends. This could be entirely finished, or you could add the Mod Podge and give it that gloss. And I think I'm going to do that on just this one real quick. Now, I'm not going to bother pouring my Mod Podge. I'm just going to dip into it with my brush. And I'm going to cover it. Now Mod Podge, we've used it enough. You know by now, it dries very quickly. And what I'm going to do is seal my edges too. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go lightly over my edges. Again, remember this is a step you do not have to do. It does increase the durability of it though. I won't have to replace the back on this, the construction paper, if it gets used a lot, as it should. We hope it does. Then I'm not going to have to replace that construction paper on the back. Now, because I'm to this point, I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge the back of it. I'm going to have to lay this a little bit down. You know, the month of February is almost gone, and we're looking at our crafts for spring and for St. Patty's Day. I'm really looking forward to those. I have some wonderful, cute little crafts for St. Patrick's Day. I think on St. Patrick's Day we're all a little bit Irish. Just a little bit. Again, I'm making sure I seal up those edges. You can actually see it drying as we go. Now I want to make sure there's no bumps on the front. And that is it. All I need to do now is let this dry and put a ribbon at the very top. So I'm going to put this over to the side, let it dry just a little bit more. And I want to comment on your the spine of your book. When you cut it, it's going to have this little bit of an edge here. And all you really need to do is to take your scissors and trim that up. Now, since I have my rotary cutter, I think I'm going to use it because I think it's just so much easier. I'm going to lay this down. Cut off my extra. Now I'm going to take my scissors and just finish that. And there we go. And again, all I'm going to do, let's do green behind this. I'm going to lay that down. Put my measuring tool on top. I need to even that up. There we go. I'm going to cut. Again, I really like my rotary cutter, so we're going to use it. We'll trim it up on the end. Didn't quite cut through there, so I'll just use my scissors. There we go. We're going to use our tacky glue on the back. And if you'll recall, I used my brush to smooth that out a little bit. And I do want to mention, I commented on these, If you are using felt, you might need to put some of these on there just to keep the felt adhered to the back until it completely dries. Put a little glue under there because I don't want that end to come up. Now I'm going to trim this up. Got a little extra green showing. By the way, you do not have to put a hole at the top of this. I just think it's kind of fun. A fun place to put the ribbon. These are good as is. And there you go. And there's our hole. Now, this one is almost completely dry. And I have Mod Podged it. I did not Mod Podge this one. Let's get some ribbon in there. I found the easiest way to do a ribbon. I have this crazy ribbon here. So we're going to use it on the orange. Just something fun. I'm going to find the center. And I'm going to put it through the front. I'm going to twist that just a little bit. I still need to be gentle. I don't want to rip that hole at the very top. So I'm going to gradually ease that down in there. And there we go. There's our ribbon at the top of this one. Let's go ahead and give this a ribbon. I may actually Mod Podge this one a little bit later, but let's go ahead, and I have this bright orange ribbon here. Again, I'm going to find the center. And we're going to put that through the front. I tried the wider ribbons, which I like the look of, but they were not going to go through that hole at the top without ripping it. And we do not want that to happen. Let me tighten this one up just a bit. And there we go. Let me pull our two out that we did. I love this ribbon. I really think that adds a lot to it. And again, on this one, I just glued the ribbon to the top. These make great little gifts for the reader in your family. They're super easy to make. Again, these are the book spine bookmarks. I hope you've enjoyed this craft. It couldn't be simpler. And if you make some of these, please post them to our Facebook page. We love looking at the crafts that you yourself have done. I hope you've enjoyed this, and keep crafting.